are the silver lows close, or could we even head back to all the way down to 30 Australian dollars? You never know, that could be a thing. Look, if you're watching this on the replay, use the time codes below. You go to that part straight away. But if you're watching this live, you get to enjoy everything we do here at Good Morning Stackers, your week daily live show. Gold, silver, platinum analysis, live analysis. We'll take some chart requests today as well. We do economic news. It's the show that you love every single weekday morning with me. But in the first 1 minute of the show, you get to enjoy your absolute favorite part, and it will be extra slurpy today. It is wonderfully weird, the synchronized slurp. Grab your tasty beverage, and I'm not going to judge what it is. It is what it is for you, and that's okay. No alcoholics, please. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, slurp it together. 2, 1, extra long slurpy one. Here we go. Oh, I think that's the longest, weirdest slurp we've ever done. Really, is it a Good Morning Stacker show if you don't slurp it weirdly and be with our wonderfully weird GMS family? Why do I keep saying the word weird? Can you guess the reason why? Haha, my name is Joe Main. Who the bloody hell am I? I have worked in the retail industry, bullion retail industry in Australia, over 3 major bullion dealers. I even started my own bullion dealership at one point. So I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been stacking for longer than that, for like 14, 15 years. And now I do this live show every single weekday morning. I chat with my GMS family as we'll do some shout outs and we'll do the silver analysis and that. And what else do I do during the day? I help you launch and grow on YouTube for your business, or maybe your individual stuff too. I help you launch and grow YouTube channels, Instagram channels, all the stuff, all the other the platforms that sort of go well together with the YouTube channel to build your customer base. If you have a business, if you know anyone with a business, everyone needs to be on social media. And I really do believe the core should be a YouTube channel where you create consistently engaging content, at least a minimum of 3 times a week. But that's what I'm there to help you do. We figure out the right plan for you. What's going to work for your business? What type of content? How many times should you do it? Should you do just regular videos, or should you do shorts as well? How do you pair that? Is Instagram a good pairing for you, for your business, or maybe Facebook's better for your age bracket? We figure it out. Okay, so check out my stuff. Go to instagram.com/itsjoemain. And if you want to talk to me personally about it, hit me up at gmstackers@gmail.com, gmstackers@gmail.com, or go to instagram.com/itsjoemain for free content. And then you maybe learn a whole bunch of stuff. You could do it all yourself without my help, but if you think you need my help, I will chat to you, see if it's right for you. And if it is, then I, like the dirty, greedy capitalist I am, I charge you money, but you learn a lifelong skill. What's that going to be worth to you? Let's really think about it. And of course, I really want you to buy me a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com at buymeacoffee.com/goodmorningstackers. It's one way to help the show keep going. I'd love to do this full time. I'll of course still have all my clients and all that sort of stuff, but hey man, if I can do extra content and spend more time doing this, that'd be fantastic. Help support me there, support what you love. And as I said, the membership stuff will be coming soon-ish. Haven't quite figured it out yet, but that will include discounts from my preferred brand partner, Perth Bullion Exchange. And I'll just give you a quick announcement right now before we do the shout-outs. I think there might be, and I don't want to, nothing's signed and nothing's in place, but I'm in chats with another business that might decide to come on board as a brand partner. I don't know. We're having a little chat. I've got to vet them very, very carefully, because what they're saying is wickedly amazing, and I've just got to cross my T's and dot my I's. So that might happen and it might not happen. I really shouldn't let stuff out of the bag before. I really shouldn't say that stuff before things are, in the bag, but it's really interesting. I won't say what it is just yet, but it all started by me selling, get this, it all started by me selling one of my DeLorean Back to the Future silver coins to someone, and then we just got chatting, and it's like, what do you do? Well, I do this thing, and I'm involved in this thing. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. Blah, 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 blah. A couple of chats, and it sounds really good. Anyway, That might be becoming another brand partner, but my sole brand partner right now, Perth Bullion Exchange, I'll do a little shout out for them later on. Hit the like button, people, and let's do some shout outs. Then we'll talk about gold, silver, platinum analysis. Can silver get as low as 30 Australian dollars? And we'll see what that is in international, in USD as well. Welcome to my international subscribers too. Hey, Mark Florida, you're talking amongst yourselves. Pete Repeat GMS, hi everyone. Knackers, blah, 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 love it. GMS is going to catch the replay. That's what you do. You come in, you say hello, catch the replay, no problem. Danny Vitt, howdy champions. Mark, Florida. GMS and Living Adamant, that is what makes AG stacking such a challenge. Fair enough. And a little troubling at the same time. Yeah, I can agree with that. Knackers is back. Morning, peeps. Morning, Joe. Jason Ashworth. Jason. I tell you. Jason. I tell you every time. Give us all the GMS. We want to see GMS. GMS, Joe. Mate, you're part of the family. You got to GMS it up. Living Adamant says, you can't say it's not interesting times, and that makes the market more interesting and more opportunity. Well, it's definitely not boring. Ain't that the truth? GMS says, Living Adamant. I think it's silver. Oh, I think it's silver wash out to, I think the silver wash out to 40 Australian dollars, 40-ish Australian dollars was expected. Yeah, just another buying opportunity before things get volatile. I doubt it will go below 25 USD. But black swans, of course, anything is possible. We will talk about that. And basically, I'm pretty much with you on that, Living Adamant. But we'll talk about it. GS, gold and silver ratio trend should reverse significantly at some point. Of course it will. The trend always reverses. It goes through periods of getting overvalued to undervalued, overbought to underbought. We'll take a look at the relative strength index on the gold-silver ratio today as well. Joe must be trimming his beard. Yes, I had a bit more of a beard yesterday. As I said, I tried once, and I do have a photo of it somewhere, but I won't show you. I had a photo once where I went, I'm going to grow this thing out as long as I can. And it got decent for me, and then it's just, that's my thumbnail. Awful. I can't do it. But it got really good for me, but it's all kind of a bit red and grey, and gets a bit, I'm like a bit ginger sometimes when it grows out, So I just get to let it get to a certain point, and then I've just got to scale it back. And I never shave, unless I really need to, I never shave fully. I just use hair clippers, and I do it on the lowest setting, and I just go from here and then go out. Why did I tell you that? Well, you mentioned it. GMS Tony Pearson, chat mum is in the house. He tricked me. Sorry, bro. You were liking the beard, weren't you? I'm here to buy silver for 30 Australian dollars. We'll get to that in just a second. That will be the first topic that we look at today. We will look at silver first, I promise. That's coming in just about 1 minute. GMS Ashes Gold Adventures. Morning, Tony. Damn, that was Slurpy. It was Slurpy. That slurp was for... maybe. GMS, and welcome to the AG sale, the silver sale. Welcome, Vanessa. Vanessa, sorry, I skipped you, bro. Sorry, bro. Vanessa, g'day. Good to see you. Synchronised Slurp. Hit the like for me. Yeah, like me, like everyone. Spoke to Ricky on the phone the other day. Top bloke, very helpful. Ricky is the owner of Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, my brand partner, and they also happen to be one of my clients for my social media coaching. And they're doing great guns too. So says me. G'day, everyone. Nathan R. Back again for a second time. That's great to see you, Nathan. Well, just a couple more shout-outs and we'll get straight into silver. Silver got down again. What is the price today? We will look at that. My friend, is there a go-to silver to gold ratio like spot price? Silver to gold? Yeah, there's a silver to gold ratio. We can look at that too. Welcome back. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Are the lows for silver in close, are the lows for silver close, or could we go down as far as 30 Australian dollars? Now, my international subscribers, welcome to all the people watching from Reddit, Silver Degen Club, Wall Street Silver, etc. You guys know I post on there every day, so we do have a lot of watchers from there. So you'd be thinking $30, what's that in USD? We'll do that in just a second. But this is kind of based off, and I won't go into too much detail, but it's based off someone that's on one of the groups that has been adamant for a long time, and in a annoying way, in my humble opinion, and what the F do I know, in an annoying way that it's going to 30. It's going to 30 Australian dollars. And haha, people, how can you not see it? That kind of thing. Like, this is obvious. Come on. And when the price goes down a bit more, there's another post going, see? Oh, come on, you should have listened to me. All this kind of stuff. All right. And I clapped back a little bit just yesterday, and I'm like, maybe, but, don't say things, don't give definites and all that kind of stuff. Now, the person did respond, and they actually said, and I will give them a good on you for it, which is they said, oh, look, I'm not actually definitely saying it is. They said that their strategy is to be a bit more Trump-like, being a bit more braggadocious and a bit more this. Or arrogant. Some people would call it arrogant. Yeah, maybe. But they said, and they admitted, it's actually a play to try and get more views and try and get this thing, to try and be that, real clickbaity kind of thing. More, and they said literally Trump style. That was those words, Trump style. And I didn't respond to that, but here's my sort of public response. That works for Trump. And we aren't Trump. And basically no one else is Trump. And trying to copy Trump style may work in a certain area, but sometimes it just doesn't land. And in my humble opinion, and I've mentioned this before on the show, we're getting to the silver thing in just a second, but this is sort of based on why I'm doing this $30 down to $30 silver, Australian dollars, is do you want to be, here's a big question for yourself, whenever you're having an argument with someone, whenever you're trying to, if you're talking to someone politically, if you're talking to someone about you're trying to get them to do something, if you're trying to whatever, here's the question. Do you want to be persuasive or do you want to be right? And those two things don't always go together. It's a big lesson that I'm still learning in my own life. You know how you get into the weeds with someone about whether it's a partner or whether it's politically, you're typing online, and it's like you have to think, well, am I trying to change their mind, or is it just about me and I want to be right and I want to be seen as right? Okay, that's my thing. Do you want to be persuasive or do you want to be right? And I think the way that this person's going about it isn't persuasive. It's not persuading them to a point of view. What I think I do is hyper persuasive, in my humble opinion. I have 8 new subscribers overnight. We're now up to 548 subscribers. Hit the big red subscribe button to join the family. We're the winning team. I believe I'm somewhat of I'm a decently persuasive person because I don't admonish people. I don't say, ha ha, I told you so. I just give you percentage chances, and I never make predictions because no one can predict shit. Makes sense? Good. But anyway, let's go to this Australian dollar silver. We're going to talk about this, and we'll also talk about, are the lows for silver in? Okay. Are they close? Now, my short answer is, I think that the silver lows are close. Obviously, where could it go down to? I have no bloody idea, and neither do you. We are not experts. Not one single person is. However, have a look at, this is, let me pull that back a little bit. I don't like that. There we go. Let me show you. This is silver in Australian dollars, okay? That's $40.90. So I just want to show you right here. Let me refresh that. So if we go, this is the USD to the Australian dollar. So if I go $40.90, that obviously equates to, there you go right there. Let me move. You can see that with my head. No, my head, you can still see that. $26.60. Does that match up with the current spot price? Yes, in USD. There's the spot price in USD, $26.60. So what one person is least claiming, and is that it could go all the way back down to 30 Australian dollars. That is a that is a from here roughly there. That's a 26%, 25, call it 25% move back down from here. Okay, all right. That's down here. Now we'll talk about, is that possible? I'll give you the short answer, and then I'll give you the sort of the reasoning. Right? Is it possible? Yes, of course it's possible. Duh. Anything is possible. Could we go back to 30 Australian dollars, which happens to be Out of interest, what's 30 Australian dollars in US dollars? Because most of us think in the US dollar terms. $30 Australian is currently $19.50 US. Let's go back to the US chart. Now we've got the indicators on. That is right, mama. With the current exchange rate, that is $19.50, right about there-ish. Okay, $19.50. Yeah. Look, it's certainly possible. I only give that. Now, the thing we have to factor in. There's one more thing we have to factor in, and the Aussies know what I'm talking about. US people might not because you're US centric. But is it possible for silver to head back down to $19.50 US? Yeah, of course it is. You really wouldn't want to see it go down there, because if we head back to $19.50, that's probably not the bottom. Okay, that's suggesting no bull market. And that's suggesting probably coming to test the lows back down here of the kind of the $14 area. You do not want to see silver at $19.50 US dollars only if you've done the majority of your buying and you only want it to go up from here. You don't want to see that, because then we're talking most likely. Okay, so that coincides with around about $30 Australian silver per ounce. However, what we will note is for our international subscribers, or for the US subscribers, of course that means, and if you don't know, and I'm sure you do, the US is the world's reserve currency. Every other foreign nation's currency floats against the US dollar. So there's two factors involved. What is gold doing in American dollars, in USD, but also what is the foreign currency's currency doing against the US dollar? So we as Aussies, and you everywhere else in the world other than the States, have to factor that in as well. So could $30 silver in Australian dollars happen? Absolutely. What percentage chance do I give it? 20? Let's call it 20% chance. It's definitely doable though. Anything can happen. But let's see what would have to happen in order for me to say that, yeah, we're getting even likely. All right. Let's look at the hurdles in the way, and this will also incorporate where we're getting close to the lows right now. So let's go back to the US dollar. This is on the monthly time frame, priced in USD to $26.60 US cents. Of course, we're using the tradingview.com website. I will get rid of this best buy zone. Just give me a moment. Rectangle. I'll get rid of that. I will get rid of you. There we go. That's the one I want. I'm going to get rid of that just so you can see this very clearly. What are we talking about, people? You don't want to see it go back down to $19.50 US. What's in the way? Of course, you have the peak of the silver bull market in 2011. Blump, 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 blump. Okay, all the way down to $14 US, $13.80, $14 US dollars. Massive line in the sand. Out of interest, just so you know, out of interest, that happens to line up perfectly with the Fibonacci levels from the old highs of the 80s and the old lows of the early 90s. Blump, 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 blump. Fibonacci, double top right there. Back down, and at the 2.236 level of basically $13.90, $14, it does happen to be previous major resistance too. So you can call it support and resistance, or you can call it Fibonacci, call it what you want. I really don't care. But clear support, right? Support, support, support. Then we had the big breakout move to above 26 US dollars, which was the huge line in the sand back between 2011 and 2013, which I've said numerous times here. I was stacking back then. We never thought 26 would ever be broken. Support, support, support. Break above, no chance. Oh, we're going to come back to test support again. 26, no chance. Day one that I first started in the bullion industry was the day overnight that it broke 26 and headed down. That was a very busy day in trial by fire for me, and the first day on my job at any bullion retail industry. It happened to be Goldstackers in Australia. So then it broke 26, and then we came down here, blah, blah, blah. If the COVID thing had not happened, you would not have seen this spike down. So that's why I discount it. 14 is the big line in the sand here. We only spiked below. Look at that on the monthly. That's the COVID spike right there, and it got sucked right back up. Clear, huge support at 14. Then we tried to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays to break and hold 26 US dollars and hold it for any significant period of time. We did it here for like a month and a bit. We did it here for like a month and a bit. We did it here for like a month and a bit. And then it failed every single time to hold for a significant period of time. 26 is the line in the sand. Then what happened? We finally broke out through, gee, what do you know? You got this long-term downtrend line right here, formed from the peak here, 2011, and I've taken it from here, which I think is the best spot because it was a higher high technically, through this and through when we made the low in COVID of March of 2020, it formed, and then we had this higher low here in September of 2022. We formed this symmetrical triangle pattern, which played out pretty much perfectly, okay? After there, you came back to test it. We came back to test the high. That was a failed move, back down to the uptrend line right here, and then finally we broke out. Now, where did it break out at? It's sort of the downtrend line kind of coincided exactly with 26 US dollars. It's technically $25.75 roughly on the Fibonacci level. Call it 26 is fine, right? Then we broke out. Great move all the way up to $32.50 US cents. So a major breakout, of a major downtrend line going all the way back to 2011, bro. Okay, major breakout. What happens? Not every single time. What happens often after breaking out of a major range? You come back to revisit. This is really normal and healthy. Oftentimes you do. It's not time to panic right now, but where could we come down and test? Where's the most logical area? What's the big line in the sand? Right here. Right there. I'm even going to draw it in for you. Right there, people. I'm going to even move that out of the way a little bit. Can I move that? No, I can't. Can I move it? Yes, I can. Right. I'm going to say here. Give me a minute. I'm even going to just do that even smaller. Right about there. Okay. That's the point where if we're going to test there, you only want to test there. That is the most likely, I think, where we see the lows for silver. Why do I think that? Because a confirmation of a break of 26 US dollars, huge line in the sand for a very long time. It's finally broken and it's held for more than a month and a half. It closed above it 1 month, closed above it 2nd month, closed above it 3rd month, closed above it 4th month, it's still above it. So we've done 4 months now above 26. The longer that you are above a certain area, the more likely it is to act as support, if that makes sense, right? You've got a lot of evidence to suggest that is. Now, could I be wrong? Could we sail to $19.50? Yes, of course we can. But it makes most sense to me that we're getting close to the lows, and those lows are going to be around about the 26 anywhere down to this trend line right here. You do not trust me. You do not. Well, don't trust me at all, actually. You shouldn't trust me. Who the hell am I? But you don't want to see this broken right here. 25 US dollars. That's sort of where it comes down to testing this trend line. Can you see on the right? Look on the right-hand side right here. And if I do that, you don't want to see that broken at 25 bucks. That's the line in the sand. Now, I call it 26 because of the Fibonacci, but you could certainly see, and you certainly do see on monthly timeframes, big spikes. So you could see, let's say we come down to 26 and then people start to panic. Let's say this is what would happen psychologically, I think would happen is the following. We come down to 26, whether it's this month or next month or the month after or any bloody month coming up soon, but it'll be more likely, this month or next month. You come up to it, and then it gets to that $26 level is actually technically right here. right? So this area, and people go, oh no, it's down to there. Some people will go, oh no, that's it. And then it spikes below 26 and people go, oh, it's under this level here. Nope, that's it. I'm selling out. I'm done. And then you have this quick little spike down to 25. And then all the people who are watching this longer term trend line go, nice. Thank you. I'll take that. Blub, 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 blub. Spike back up. And hopefully, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Hopefully, you close the month, whether it's August or whether it's September, you close the month at or above that $25, $75, $26 level. That's the scenario I think is most likely, but I don't have a crystal ball because you don't want to see that. You don't want to see this getting broken. Now, that's where I think the lows are in. And let me show you one of the reasons why. And again, I could be completely bloody wrong, and I will completely admit if I'm wrong. And again, I don't give predictions. I don't give 100% predictions, but I say that's more likely. So I'm going to give it it's 70% for me. No, I'll give it an 80%. No, I'm going to give it an 80%. Screw it. If I think there's only a 20% chance that we hit $19.50, I'll give it an 80% chance that this area here is the low for silver. What makes me think that? We are coming down pretty close to the bottom end, and we're not in there yet, but on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, take a look down here. This is the relative strength index. This is measures going into overvalued versus undervalued. This is overvalued for silver, and this is undervalued for silver. You always go through periods of going from extremely overvalued into above this purple box right here is extremely overvalued, and you always go down into eventually extremely undervalued. What happens when you get into undervalued? You can spend a little bit of time there, but then the price reverses. That's generally what happens. And then you get into a period of, look, oh, gee, what do you know? Overvalued, right? And then it goes back down. It doesn't always oscillate exactly from extremely overvalued to extremely undervalued. You can sometimes go close to it and then back up again, but you always, 100%, always revisit extremely undervalued at some point. We haven't done that since September, October of last year. It spent approximately, 29th of September, it started to dip into there, and it dipped out of it on the 6th of October, about a week. It spent about a week in extremely oversold. We're coming towards that time now, okay? That's why, and you don't actually always have to dip back into extremely oversold. You could find support right here and then click back up again. Okay, that's possible. But I think probably this time we're due for an extremely oversold RSI on the daily time frame. It's more likely than not. So I think we could spend some time in extremely oversold. Well, where does that take it down to? That can take it down to, I think, around about this kind of level. That's more likely than taking it down to $19.50, of which with current Australian to USD ratio, it would have to get to $19.50. Let me tell you, if we're at $19.50 USD, we're way down in here on the relative strength index on the daily time frame. Unless, now I will say unless, and this is a very valid point, and maybe the person on Gold Silver Stackers Australia forum is actually thinking the following, and this could actually be true. Whereas you come back down, you test, and maybe people go, we had the test. It closes back above the month, right? And then, that could be a fake out. Absolutely. We could come back up to $27.20. We could come back up to, this kind of $28 level, which would be the top end of the best buy zone. I'll put that back in just a second. And then you could swing back over. Yep, completely possible. That's why I give it a 20% chance. You could see this come down into extremely oversold, and we go, woohoo! We're done, baby. We've found the lows at this, $25 kind of area, right? And then it could swing back up, find resistance, and then, that's your fake out, and then it goes for a double dip. Yeah, you can certainly double dip, okay? But I give that a 20% chance. More likely, we head down into roughly extremely oversold when we hit down into maybe this $25 area. I would say at an absolute, and I don't think it's getting here, but I'll say with an absolute, you don't want to see the following broken, is the uptrend line right here. So maybe I'll give it a little bit of grace. Maybe. And I'll say that. Does that make sense? So that's coming anywhere down there, maybe a spike. And this would freak the out of everyone. Anyone watching TA, this would freak out a lot of people going, oh no, it's back in the long-term symmetrical triangle pattern. And then it goes, haha, sucked in and back up. Okay, so that could be your lower roundabout there. I really want to see it bounce there. I don't want to see it go into this area right there. That would just be, my heart would be a little bit too palpitating, right? But I will give it that grace as well. So that's why I think the lows are in. The lows not up, sorry, don't quote me on that. The lows are close, not the lows are in. The lows are close. We're getting close to the lows. Does that make sense? What would negate that, or what would be the $19.50, 30 Australian dollar case to be made? And we've got to look at that other side of it. Of course we do. On the relative strength index on the weekly time frame, you can see very clearly we were in a double top right here. Again, this is the longer term time frame, the weekly, right? So we are still heading down. You've actually got a lot of room to move on the weekly time frame in order for it to get into extremely oversold. And at some point, we will go into extremely oversold on the weekly time frame. So that could be the move. That could be the move, 20% chance. While we're above this area right here, while we're above this big symmetrical triangle pattern right there, that's a 20% chance, but it is a chance. And you could see that go all the way down into extremely oversold or undervalued before we see the ticker back up again. And that would say, yeah, okay, $19.50, definitely doable. But I would suggest if we're going to break this level here of $20, $20.50, $20.70, which is a key Fibonacci level, you're not just going to stop at $19.50. You'd probably go all the way down to that $14 area. Okay, that was probably what would propel this all the way down into extremely oversold on the weekly time frame. So again, I give that a 20% chance at this stage. Definitely doable though, because anything can happen. So that is my opinion, and I'll show you very quickly. The XA, again, this is XAG to AUD. So this is silver in Australian dollars. So what's the other factor that I talked about? What's the other factor that could actually push it down to 30 Australian dollars is obviously us floating against the US dollar. So let's take a look at that. Just so you know, for my international subscribers, this is the Australian dollar to US dollar index. As this is going up, the Australian dollar is weakening, right? Doesn't make sense, right? But as this is going up, the Australian dollar is weakening against the US dollar, meaning it's getting closer to parity, right? Here's 1-to-1. Where are we? Blah, 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 blah. 1-to-1. There's 1-to-1. So that's where 1 Australian dollar equals 1 US dollar. That's actually really good. You want that if you're buying US products, right? I remember being back here. I was back in 2004 or something. We were close to like 1-to-1. I think we're like over 1-to-1. And I was like rubbing my hands because I was buying photography equipment and all this kind of stuff at like a 1-to-1 ratio. It was ridiculously good. I loved it. However, if you're a gold and silver stacker in Australia, you really don't want to see this climb too high because the value of our metal is going down in Australian dollars if, you know, or it's not going up as much. You know, gold could go up in US dollars, but if the Australian dollar is weakening against the US dollar, ours could stay flat or even go down depending on how high. So this is the other factor that could propel silver down to 30 Australian dollars if we continue to see, or if we do see a weakening in the Australian dollar, this number go up. Okay, we recently saw a test of this long-term symmetrical triangle pattern right here. We saw a test of it. It was a fake out, so it failed to hold that breakdown, right? So it had a quick move back up. So we're back in this not sure range. Now we're at the bottom end of it. I'm more of the opinion that we continue to see a strengthening. No, hang on. Let me go back. Sorry, everyone's posting comments right now, and I apologize. It's the other way around, meaning, this is a strengthening of the Australian dollar against the US dollar, and this is a weakening of the Australian dollar. Going up as a strengthening of the Australian dollar, obviously, because it's getting closer to 1-to-1, so that's a strengthening. So what we don't want to see as gold and silver stackers, we don't want to see a strengthening of the Aussie dollar against the US dollar. We want to see a continued weakening so that the value of our metal in Australian dollars is going up and up and up, actually higher than the US dollar rate. So we want to see this continue to go down. I think we're on the bottom end here. We're not out of the woods yet in terms of continuing to strengthen against the USD. My apologies, I meant to flip that around. But if we continue to strengthen against the US dollar, if we break this level right here of 67, 68 US cents, if we come back up to the top end of this downtrend line right here at around about close to 70 cents, okay, what does that do? Well, if gold in US dollars, if silver in US dollars continues to go down, and let's say silver in US dollars goes down to that general area, let's say it goes all the way down to $24.60 US cents. And, you know, my heart is palpitating because it's right at in this little inflection point right here, okay? Let's say it gets down to there. And also, the Australian dollar is strengthening. It's up at around about like 70 cents. Okay, then I could see how we would get closer to that $30 mark, but it still doesn't cut it all the way. You would need to see a pretty decent strengthening in the USD in the Australian dollar against the US dollar to see that, okay? So what you would really be seeing is the bottom falling out of the silver market in USD and coming down here. That's when you could say, okay, $30 Australian is, you know, more likely. Okay, does that all make sense? 20% chance. I don't think it's likely. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Will I say, damn, I was wrong? No, because I only give it, I don't give predictions. I don't say definitely not. I just say it's probably just a 20% chance for me. Okay, but I do think the lows are close, in my humble opinion. And I will admit to be wrong on that. I think the lows are close. There's 80% chance that the lows are close. For silver for me in US dollar terms. That is silver, okay? What I need to do now, give me 1 second. Let me get your quick thoughts on that, okay? So post your comments right now, I'll get your quick thoughts. Am I wrong in my thinking on that? I really need, I always want your opinion because I am not an expert. And also, I just love everyone else's opinions too. So the GMS family, give me some opinions right now. You've probably given them already, and I will read some of them out. Right now, let's see, I'll go down here. Greenwashing costs a lot but really saves money. $15. Just checking any points on this silver thing. Let's see. You've already done a lot of stuff here. I have always wondered if the... Oh, interesting. Tony Pearson says, I have always wondered if the powers that be dropped the prices to discourage investors due to immediate losses on the purchase price. The other thing I wonder is if the drop in spot is to discourage COMEX delivery. That's a really good theory, a good hypothesis. I should say, Living Adamant says the lower the price goes, the heavier the buying. Yep, and the larger the reversal. The heavier the buying and the larger the reversal, okay, due to supply. Yes, true. That could also happen too. Yeah, I agree. I won't put that one. Jason Ashworth says, persuasive is better. Right just shuts down the conversation. Correct. Are you trying to be persuasive or are you trying to be right? Are you making it about you and your ego, or are you actually trying to help the world, right? Is it not about you? Okay, sometimes you've just got to take it on the chin and take the L and go, you know what? I really see your point in that. However, have you considered this? Rather than, that's the dumbest take I've ever seen in my entire life, you idiot. Don't you know that it's this way? That doesn't do anything. That gets people's backs up. So do you want to be persuasive or do you want to be right? Is it not about you or is it about you? All right. And I struggle with that all the time, okay? Because no one's perfect. Okay, so that is my opinion on silver. Are the silver lows close? Yes, I think 80% chance that the silver lows are close to round about those areas I talked about, round about your 25 US dollars, preferably no lower than about 24.60, as I think I said. 20% chance that we could see the $19.50 to 20 US dollar level, which equates to about 30 Australian dollars. I don't think that's likely. Around about 20%. Could I be wrong? Yes. All right, my lovely people. I do agree. 25.50 to 26 is a huge support. It's pretty damn obvious to everyone. But that support could break. Of course it could, but you really don't want that to. Okay? And of course, what I need to do right now, I've got to tell you about my brand partner, Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, Australia's first dealer to offer free shipping when buying any quantity. Buy a tube of silver coins, get free shipping. They have the lowest prices in Australia, as far as I'm aware. They have a great range. They have a range of silver and a range of gold that you can't normally find everywhere else as well. They have a lot of awesome Scottsdale stuff. We love Scottsdale here in Australia. Plus, they've got your cheap and cheerful Buffalo rounds and all that kind of stuff, and their pricing on it is really good. Plus, you buy over a certain amount and you get free shipping. So you're not even paying you don't have to factor in the shipping cost as well. You don't, I go, oh, well, I can buy, these Buffalo rounds for $46.37. Okay, righto. But and then I have to factor in shipping. So really the price gets to X per ounce. No, you buy 20 of these, free shipping. You don't have to factor it in. Or you could buy, one gold bar and buy a bunch of other things to mix and match to 20 items in your shopping cart. When you get to 20 or more items, no matter what the item is in your shopping cart, instant free shipping. Express delivery, sign on delivery express, fully insured, the whole deal, Australia-wide. It's so ridiculous that no company before had done this and they stepped up to the plate. And Ricky from Perth Bullion Exchange is hitting it out of the park, in my humble opinion. Also, of course, they just hit, yesterday they hit over 500 subscribers on their YouTube channel. Now they're at 504 because they're creating great content, of which I'm helping them create. I'm teaching them, literally teaching them how to do it themselves. I'm not doing it for them. I'm not I'm not making the videos and all that stuff. They're doing it over there in Perth, right? And then it's all getting uploaded to the YouTube channel. Excellent titles, excellent descriptions, all that stuff. They're already doing unboxing videos. They're doing educational videos. They've already had videos that have had 3,000 plus views for a channel that has 500 subscribers. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. Why? Because they're learning the skills of creating consistently engaging content. 3.7 thousand views, over 3,500 views for one video. 500 subscribers. That ratio is off the chart. Why? Because they're being taught and they're implementing it, I must say, very well. Okay, they're implementing it well. They're doing it consistently. So that's what I'm teaching them, and they're doing great guns. Give them a follow over at Perth Bullion Exchange. And if you want to find out from me how to create consistently engaging content, I'll teach you how to do it too for your business, for your individual channel, for whatever kind of business you have. gmstackers@gmail.com. Hit me up there and I will help you with your social stuff because I'm really good at it, if I do say so myself. And, that whole thing, buy me a coffee. And as I said, potential new brand partner coming soon, maybe. I've just got to cross my T's, dot my I's, and really look into the back end of their business and see, is what they're saying true, and does it come up to muster? But I tell you what, if it is, I would be very happy to have them as a brand partner. But I'm not telling you anything about that just yet. Okay, I'm just wetting your whistle, just in case. All right, let's take a quick look at gold and platinum in USD, and then we're going to get out of here because I've got stuff to do, and so do you. Very quickly, here is gold in USD, 2,384 US dollars. We're using the tradingview.com website, as I said, and we're on the daily time frame. All I really need to tell you is that we are still in the trading range between my final hurdle for new all-time highs, 2,430, and the... Actually, I should put this in here. Hurdle or support. Let me put it here. Sorry, support or Down she goes. Okay, that's my technical term. All right, 2,350. Got a hold there. Oh, down she goes. And more likely, the more you come up against a trend line, the more likely it is to be taken out. So I'm not saying it would break this trend line here, but if you break 2,350, we are heading, I give you a 90% chance we are heading to at least 2,305, 2,310, roughly US dollars. I'm not saying it would break, but one test, two tests, could third test be the charm? Quite possibly. You could certainly see it bounce and off we go. But the more you test a level, the more likely it is to be taken out. So I would just watch out for that. Might be support, might break down. If that breaks down through here, then 90% chance from there, we're heading to the best buy zone, which we haven't hit yet. Like we did on silver, we've been in the best buy zone for a little bit now. On silver, we haven't done it on gold. Doesn't mean we will, but the best buy zone out of interest for my new subscribers, 2,250 to 2,150 US dollars per ounce is my best buy zone where you go, wow, okay, we're below this area here. Anywhere in here is a good buy. Not good buy, but a good buy. So I would be, dollar cost averaging, all you should just dollar cost average once a month. I actually saw someone, and I will give a big props and a shout out to Sam Laurie from Adams Bullion. Sam Laurie from, g'day Sam, if you watch this randomly or someone can tell him that I mentioned him today on the show. I might just even say I mentioned him today on the show. Me and Sam worked together at Bullion Now. It's all a little incestuous thing here. And then Sam started his own company, Adams Bullion. Not his own one, it's with someone else. But Sam posted something, a little story that he showed a chart of if you bought gold at the end of every month, and then you held it all until like just recently, it was green the entire way. So it seems like what he was saying is buying metals at the end of every month, like on the last day of the month, tends to be the low point. For some reason, it seemed to just line up with that when you see that little chart that he did. So why was I mentioning that? Oh, because dollar cost averaging. So if you dollar cost average once every paycheck, maybe you do it once a month. Maybe you do it at the end of the month. That could be a good little play. But if you're dollar cost averaging, it doesn't really matter anyway. But down in here in the best buy zone would be an extra area to consider dollar cost averaging more. Okay, 2250 to 2150. We are not there yet in gold, so that's all I'll say. We're in that trading range. If we break above 2,330 again, new all-time highs coming soon, as long as it remains as support. What you would want to see is a break above and a support. We saw a break above. It did not act as support. You want to see a break, and if we can break, come back and test, and then we have a couple of days of support, that's really positive. Okay, so you want to see a break of 2,040, come back, retest it, hold as support for at least a couple of green days, right? And then I would say new all-time high coming imminently. Okay, but break below here, then we're heading down here, so we're just in that trading range. That's all you need to know for gold. My targets moving higher for later on down the track. 2,875 to 3,000 US dollars would be an area that we will find some resistance. It's not the peak by any means over the 10 years to come or whatever. Just keep that in the back of your mind. That's gold. We'll do platinum and maybe a quick look at the gold to silver ratio. Then I've got to go. I thought this would be a short show, then it'll end up being a long one. Platinum is still, look, I'll still give it a 90% chance, 89% chance at this stage that we see this broken right here, and we come into my best buy zone of anywhere between 900, anywhere down to 750 US dollars per platinum ounce in USD. What negates that? Closing and holding above 945 US dollars. That's pretty much it. While we are in this area here, I am depressed for platinum. Depressed meaning, if I want to see it go up, I'm not looking to buy more, right? If that would be the case. If you were in here, if you are not looking to buy more platinum and you just want to see it shoot up from the moon right here, you would be depressed in this area. You would be, okay, whatever, par for course in this area. You would be getting excited in this area, and you would be super bull run excited, no questions asked, basically, barring black swan events and market manipulation. If we close any month in platinum above 1,120, that's my go signal to aggressively get back into platinum. I would really highly consider going full bore into platinum. Not everything, okay, but buying a bit more aggressively in platinum. I'm waiting to buy more platinum till we confirm that we're in the best buy zone or that we are back here. Anywhere in here, I ain't buying shit. Okay, no, there's no confirmation for me. Confirmation of best buy zone, yeah, I'll consider buying more. Above here, closing a monthly, oh yeah, that signals bull run coming, baby. Bull, bull, bull. And we talk about higher prices later on down the track, but we ain't there yet. That's all you need to know for platinum. Gold to silver ratio. Youch. Okay, so someone did mention the gold to silver ratio is getting to a point where it will tick over. Yes, it will. Why? We're on the daily time frame and we're already in extremely overvalued for gold. Gold is in the extremely overvalued territory. As I said, on the relative strength index, you do spend time in extremely overvalued, and then it always, always, always comes back down. So we're getting towards the extreme. We're in extremely overvalued on the gold to silver ratio. Sorry, guys, right here. I don't want to give you too much motion sickness. Let me move that. But you can spend a few more days. You can spend a bunch of days in there because it has to reach a peak and then tick over, right? Sometimes you can see a peak, it ticks over, then it finds support. Yeah, it could do that too. Let's see, when did the last time, did it ever do that? Yeah, right about here. It came back in, then it went back up again. The peak in, there you go. There's the major peak in March of 2020. Of course, what was happening in March of 2020? That's where you saw a move into extremely overvalued for gold. Then it looked like it was peaking. It looked like it was turning over and then sucked in and it headed back up again. So you can spend a decent amount of time there, okay? But we are extremely overvalued for gold now. Again, we could spend lots of time. So this could creep. This could creep, you know, all the way up to that final hurdle. It could creep way above that final hurdle, but just know you don't want to be buying, if you're playing the gold to silver ratio, you don't want to be buying gold when it's already in the extremely overvalued range, okay? You're buying gold when it's an extremely undervalued range, okay? Don't buy gold up here if you're trying to up your gold, right? If you're playing the gold to silver ratio, you buy silver in this overvalued for gold ratio, and then you wait until it goes back down, and then you swap your gold for silver and silver for gold and all that kind of stuff, right? Does that make sense? Don't buy gold up here. It's better to buy silver, in my opinion, if you're trying to play the gold to silver ratio. Lastly, someone asked, do I have a silver to gold ratio? Yes, I do. There's your silver to gold ratio. I haven't taken a look at this for a long time. This is silver to gold, so it's the inverse of gold to silver. I don't think I have time for chart requests if someone's put it in there. I don't know if I have time now. Okay, it's still going down. So this is the silver to gold ratio. Okay, it's really interesting to take a look at the inverse as well, because it can give you a slightly different perspective, even though it's just inverse, right? So silver to gold. Ooh, that doesn't look good when you look at it on this, when you look at it this way, does it? The monthly time frame, you've got a big support level, okay, and that's when I showed you that 93 level right there on the gold to silver ratio. That sort of equates with this rough area here of that. It's around about there-ish, isn't it? That 11 point right there. Let's call it there-ish. That's a pretty decent support level. You could call it anywhere down to there. Okay. You don't want to see those two lines crossed. You don't want to see that crossed. Otherwise, it says silver is going to continue to underperform, or gold will continue to outperform silver. We're coming to an inflection point there. It has been a level of support, another level of support, another level of support. Okay. We also recently, out of interest, there's a downtrend line here. That's going back to the peak of the silver market, right? So silver was outperforming gold right here, peak of the market. You had this another little peak here in February of 2021, formed this downtrend line. We recently had a first move to test. It was a failed move to hold, so it was a fast move to the downside, but we've had a peak. Okay, so you could potentially find support here and then another test. I don't know. We're in the not sure area. It doesn't look not looking good at the moment. But on that gold to silver ratio, back to back to here, and I'm going to go in the next couple of minutes. We're just currently in the gold outshining silver area. as I said. So it's looking more positive for gold. I have to stick with what I have to stick with. It looks more positive that gold will continue to outshine silver for a period of time, unless this fakes out and then heads back down, which is what we want to see if we're all in silver, which a lot of us are, and we want to play the gold to silver ratio, which I do, over long periods of time. But it's looking like gold's having its time at the moment. Does that really matter? If gold is shooting up and silver is if gold's going up and silver are going up at the same time, one's just going slower than the other, you're still doing okay. All right. But if you're looking to play it, you really want to see this breakdown under this trend line. Above here, it says gold's having its reigning supreme against silver. Below here, silver is reigning supreme against gold. Make sense? Good. That is all I have to say, I think. Final comments, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. Hazard says, remember what you could buy at a milk bar for $2? Yep. That's inflation for you. Do you remember, I'm 46. Do you remember as a little kid, walking into your local milk bar, out of interest for my international subscribers, a milk bar, why we call it the milk bar, because they sell milk, is the local convenience store. So your LCS in the States, the local convenience store, is your milk bar here in Australia. You go to your milk bar with $2 and you could get an entire bag of lollies for $2. And if your grandfather or your uncle or your whatever, came around and he goes, hey, mate, come here, hand you a $2 coin or whatever, you're like, oh, $2, that's awesome. You could go to the fish and chip store. Do you remember when $2 of fish and chips? Do you remember when your parents or your grandparents were ordering fish and chips and you had to go and pick up, for the family for the night? And they go, minimum chips. Oh, and then they go, what do you reckon? Oh, how many people we got here? Oh, yeah, no, Uncle Dave's over and whatever. Now let's get $2 of chips. And everyone's like, whoa, $2 of chips? We're not going to eat all those. That's not even minimum chips is like $5 now. It's so dumb. That's inflation for you. Okay. That's because the value of your dollar is going down. Your purchasing power is going down. If you hold precious metals over the longer term, you maintain your purchasing power, particularly gold, and then silver can have its time to shine as well. Yep, I absolutely remember that. You guys were already talking about chips. Did we already talking about Friday? Yeah. There you go. $1. Yep, $1 of hot chips feed you and your 4 mates. It used to. $1. It'd be like 1 chip now for like $1. It's just 2-cent candies. Yep, exactly. $2 pocket money went a long way. Absolutely agree. Remember how long it took to spend $50 or $100 in the 80s and 90s? Yep, damn inflation. Exactly. That's right. Pegging. What's someone's talking about pegging? Oh, they pegged gold prices for 100 years before 1970. Probably more than an apprentice wage today, inflation adjusted. Wow. Isn't it amazing? 1990, I was 14. I got given $550 from my nan, my grandma. I looked at buying gold for $350 an ounce, but bought a new bike. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. You want a new bike. You were 14, man. And yet I think the standard of living was better back then. Yeah, well, your dollar did go further. It certainly did. And particularly times earning. Times earning, of course. You can go back to the 50s, the 60s, blah, blah, blah. We could, a family could live on one income, and 1 year's worth of wage would buy the average family home. Not now. You need 10, 12, 13, 14 years. Let's call it, 10 years now. You need to save for 10 years to afford the average house if you were buying it, all out. You could do that in 1 year in the 50s and even back in the 70s and the 80s. It was so much better. But taxes are government-sanctioned robbery. The government should have to put on an annual report of what they spend our taxes on. They should, shouldn't they? They should. They come up with the yearly budget, the budget report, but the budget report isn't what they spent. The budget report says, here's what we need for next year. I agree. Ricky's video on wages versus gold price over 30 years was spot on. Yes, that was the recent educational video they did called The Real Reason to Buy Gold, I think it was. Go check out their video. And I think that is it, people. Yep, I'm going to leave it at that because we've all got stuff to do. All right, people. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much, my lovely people. We're nearly in an hour, so we're going to finish this in 30 seconds. Of course, we need to do the theme song. Thank you very much for watching.
Good morning, Stack. Oh, yeah, we're feeling fine. Good morning, Stack. It's podcast time.
Grab a tasty beverage and let's do the in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah,
did I time that right? I think I did. Thank you very much for watching. Good morning, Stackers. You will get another one tomorrow, the last day of the week. Tomorrow, people. So I will see you then. We'll have a great Friday. Stay safe. Stay informed. Keep stacking. Be your wonderful selves. Join the GMS family by hitting the big red subscribe button. We are the absolute winning team. I can tell you that much. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.